today I'm here to do my wrap up for the months of January and February of 2023. Oh my god, a couple of things first, because I feel like I have not filmed a video in like so many weeks, is I got this new shirt from Certified Printing. So it just says Vampire Academy, which is really cool, but look what it says on the back! My name and my birth year. Like, I feel like that is the coolest thing ever. But this is one of the vendors coming to Rare, and I decided to buy 2 shirts. So my other shirt I will wear on one of the days to Rare. Like, I'm the type of person that I'm already planned my outfits that I want to wear for the event because I want to look pretty. But there was the option to pick these up at the event and not pay for the shipping, but I definitely wanted them beforehand just so I could wear them, even though I got them like a month ago and I have not actually worn them yet to film because I've been waiting. So that is one thing. And another thing is I got another tattoo that you may have seen when I turned around. Oh, the shirt kind of hides it, but look! It's a little mouse! So, this is my tattoo. Wait, why can't I get in a good angle? Oh my god, why is it so hard? This is Reaper Cheap from the Narnia series, and this is such a random tattoo, and honestly, it kind of came around in a really weird way because I saw a TikTok of a really simplified version of Reaper Cheap because they were doing tiny Narnia tattoos, and I just fell in love with the concept. And it's odd for me because Narnia isn't like a really deep and meaningful series to me. Like, I read it when I was younger and I did enjoy the experience, but I wouldn't be able to reread it now and like sit through the whole thing. But I saw this thing and I decided that I wanted to get it, and I got this obviously like more detailed version because this is actually a 10 centimeter tall tattoo. Got a more detailed version, decided to get it. The only thing is with the placement of it on my arm, I had to flip the photo just to make it so that with the sword sticking out it looked better. So now I've turned him into a right-handed mouse instead of a left-handed mouse, but we're not going to think about that. But it is ironic that my second tattoo is just a completely random one, but I do have fond memories of the series because my grandma gave me my binder for the books when I was 10 years old, so I already have memories of it from that. And I also feel like it just encompasses the fact that I like reading fantasy books, even though I don't like them as much as I used to, but just like from where I was. So it's definitely a book lover's tattoo. It's just a really random one, and I definitely have more plans, and I've said this last time because the back of the arms are tattooed now with 2 bookish tattoos, and honestly I don't think I'm gonna get a tattoo that isn't from a book or from a movie or from a fandom that I really like, because these are the things that have meaning to me. It's the things that I watch and I continuously love them. Like, I'm not just gonna get something that's random that doesn't involve some form of media to it, but I do have plans for more tattoos, and I'm hoping to get a couple more this year, just depending on which ones I want to get first, because I've got too many ideas and I don't know what order I want to do them in. Because honestly, my Reaper Cheap one probably could have been like a later tattoo and I could have gotten some more others that were more meaningful, but it ended up being the one that I got, and I decided to do it, and I really am happy that I have it. But it definitely hurt more than my first one. Obviously it's bigger, but I am concerned about getting more tattoos because I feel like the next ones that I want to get are going to be bigger again and have more colouring in, which hurt a lot. I'm the biggest wimp, so if you guys are hesitant about getting one, it's not that bad, but it still hurts. But anyway, this is like a really long tangent about my shirt and my tattoo, but I'm here to do my wrap up for the 2 months. I only read 7 books over the course of January and February, and I'm sitting here like I need to read all these books for Rare, and I'm reading as slow as I possibly can at the moment, and I don't like it. I've got less than 2 months until the event, and also one of the authors I was really excited about meeting pulled out. So 2 of the books that I read out of the 7 are for that author, so now it's like, really? Like, I had so much fun reading these books, and now this author's not coming, so now it's like I'm back to having less books read for the event, causing more stress. But let's get into the wrap up and talk about all the things that I read. So the first book I read was The Man Band by Nicola Marsh. So I started out strong with reading a Rare book, and I've also read Banished by this author, so I definitely want to bring both of those books with me because I really enjoyed Banished when I read it as a teenager, and now I've read an adult book. This is also the second in a companion series, so it was really weird reading it when they kept talking about this other couple. Then I'm just like, this is the companion thing where they got to keep calling back to them. I feel like I already know the love story now from hearing them being talked about a lot in this book. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars. Like, I did enjoy it. it, and the Aussie vibes were quite immaculate. Like, I enjoyed that they were talking about so many cities. It's based in Melbourne. They were talking about just some of the Aussie slang things that other authors try to write about, but you don't really get it until you are an Aussie author and you've lived the experience, and like they go to New Zealand and there's really fun vibes. But I just felt like the characters were like a bit two-dimensional. Like, I don't think there was as much depth to them as they could have been, but I did like that there was levels of like her hiding things about herself because she's scared of rejection, and Manny never wanting to settle down with someone because he's scared about losing them. So there's definitely like good deep factors of grief between them, but I just felt like it just felt a bit flat. Like, I really wanted to enjoy it more, and I definitely still did. Like, I liked the banter between the characters, but also the romance. It was kind of like the whole idea of he's like, ooh, I never like women, I just sleep with them once and blah blah blah, and next minute he's obsessed with her, and I'm like, and she's kind of obsessed with him. But I don't know, like, it was a very average experience. Like, I'm not gonna say that I didn't like this book. I did enjoy it, but there's just things that just didn't work out for me, which is annoying. Then I read Witch Please by Anna Aguirre. This is the author not coming, so I had to read this book, and I read Boss Witch, which we'll talk about later, obviously. It's later in the wrap-up. But I was so excited, because when I saw that this author wrote a witchy trilogy that sounded right up my alley, I was so excited, because I only have like 10 authors on my rare list, and it used to be 20 before 10 of them have now pulled out, which is really disheartening because I'm so excited for the event, but the more authors that keep pulling out, it's like, yeah, I'm spending so much money to fly there and for the event and all the things that are happening, and people just keep leaving me. So I will definitely enjoy the day so much, and I'm so excited to be able to go and hang out with everyone and have a good time. But it's hard not to feel sad about situations like this. But this book was so good, and I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely enjoyed it so much. It's so corny, and like Titus is like so corny as well. Like, he was such a sweet character, but the way that he just like sees Danica and he's instantly in love with her, but Danica's a witch. Witches and humans aren't really meant to interact with each other, but witches especially cannot tell humans about them. So it's very hard because witches will end up liking humans, but then they're not allowed to love them and fully be themselves because it's against the rules of their witch council. But also there is a curse on the family that if they fall in love with a human, they lose their magic. So there's a whole lot of issues there. And then we've got Titus, who has been so unlucky in love that at 32 or something, he's still a virgin because he's never been able to get to that point where he can connect with someone in that way, and he just feels like he's cursed because of this. So it's witch magic, there's curses, and it was just really good. I liked the way that they've been living in the same town for so long and then only just ran into each other, and they're just so sweet. Like, the way that they just swoon for each other so quickly, it's just adorable. But then all the other factors cause them so much grief. But I highly recommend this if you just want a really quick and easy, simple romance. Like, it was just so easy to pick up and read. Then I listened to 9 Liars by Maureen Johnson, and I was so excited. Like, I was so excited when The Box in the Woods was announced, because I was like, oh my god, there's another book, and now there's another book, and it's about a different case, and this case absolutely had me captivated, but I was so confused for the first part of the book because this one's called 9 Liars. So there is 9 characters that just get flung at you that are all in this group of friends, and what happens is they go to this manor house because one of them's like an earl of something, and it's like set in the 90s, and they go to this manor house and then they have this big game of hide and seek, and then by morning they find 2 of them dead. And there was no one else around, so it's assumed that one of the 9 did it. But also, they have this idea that it was a robbery gone wrong, so the case was chucked away and no one really cared. They just said it was a robbery, they died, and blah blah blah. So one of them thinks that that's not the case though, and it's taken this long for it to come out by her niece talking to Stevie, because David is in the UK and they go to London to spend a week with him so Stevie can see her boyfriend, and then they do a little bit of studying abroad, so that's kind of the situation there, and he has a friend who is the niece of one of the people, so there's like already a complication of things happening. Because having 9 characters, it was really hard to differentiate between them, and then trying to figure out who I thought it was, because there was people that I was kind of like saying they weren't a suspect in my brain, because these books are so exciting for me because I like to try and figure out who did the thing. But by the end of the book, I got down to 3 people that I thought it was, and then I picked one of them beforehand to say who I thought it was, and I was wrong. It was one of the 3 that I guessed at, but I was still wrong, and I was like, damn it, because once it really came out who it was, I was just like, oh, of course. And I had ideas, but like, I'm telling you, like, a lot of people have complained about this book because of the pacing and it doesn't feel like the characters as much, but the intensity that I was feeling about trying to figure out the case really got to me. And I also highly believe that there is going to be another book because it left on a cliffhanger that shits me. Because with this book I was starting to be a bit more on Team David because I've always not really liked him as a character or a love interest, but now I'm like, nah, you cut, bitch. I'm so done with him, but I'm also intrigued because I need to know more. Oh my god, and then the biggest achievement of my year so far, and I probably will be the achievement of the year, is I finished this freaking series. So, Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I finally finished this trilogy because I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone like back in 2016, and then I think in like 2020 I did a reread of that book and I read the second book, and then finally I've done it. So this is my first one of the Magical Readathon Adventure Challenge finished, and I finished this on the last day of the month. You do not understand the stress of trying to make sure I finish this book. And I literally had to do a live stream to get people to help me finish this book because I was hella stressed trying to do it. This ended up being a really good conclusion, and to be honest, I just don't think I really liked the second book because I don't like the way that it was so good in the first book and then it became about all the politics and battle and shit and everyone was apart and everyone hated each other and I just didn't like it. And we come into this book and it's still the same thing, but the underlying level of hope that this book had was really good. And I was also freaking confused because I did not remember much about anything, so there was a lot of people that I was like, I don't know who you are, and bits about magic and bits about story, and there was a lot of things that made me really sad, but I pleasantly really enjoyed it. And I love Karoo and Akiva as characters, and Laini Taylor really writes such a good story, so I just had so much fun. Like, it was so good, even though it took me a really long time to read, but I just don't know if I can deal with these really dense and thick fantasies anymore because my brain just doesn't understand things anymore like it used to. Okay, coming into February, I only read 3 books. I was hoping to read more, but I've just been feeling like really slumpy this month, and I'm still reading every day, but just not enough. So I finally read Broken Bonds by Jay Bree, so another rare author, finally read. Proud of myself, and oh my god, this is my first time reading anything that's like a reverse harem story, and I've heard many good things, and this is one of the books that Sasha recommended to me because when I realized that I didn't have many authors on my list, I asked her to tell me what authors she thinks I would appreciate the stories from, and this is the top one that she said, so I bought all the books, and I am fucking loving it. It's so good. I'm so enjoying this, and I think everyone should read this series because there is just so much relationship drama. Like, it is so trashy, yet it's so good. I gave it 4 stars just because this book is still setting up situations for things, so I definitely feel like the rest of the series are going to end up being 5 stars because most of this book spends with all the Bonds hating her. It was really sad because everyone is just treating her like shit, and she's just trying to survive and protect her bonds, and no one clearly understands anything. But I like the way that all the guys are so different. Like, they don't blur together at all. Like, they all have their own personalities, and definitely I think, like, in this book Griffin was my favorite, but I'm reading the second one at the moment, like currently listening to it, and I'm leaning more towards Gabe. But solidly those are my top 2. I don't trust Atlas. He was too nice from the beginning and I just don't trust it. And the Draven brothers irritate me. I think they're going to redeem themselves, but they very much are rude boys. So they need to get their shit together. So by the end of the series, I can see myself loving them all equally. But at the moment, there's some shit bitches in this mix. So that's where I'm at. So then I read Boss Witch by Anna Aguirre. Another book that it's not going to help me with rare, but oh well. Like, I'm really excited. I also have Extra Witchy that I really want to read soon, if I do get to it, but now it's not a priority. But at this point in time, I'm just trying to read 1 book from every rare author because I'm probably only going to end up bringing 1 book from everyone. But I guess the less authors coming, the more books I can bring for authors, and I might be able to bring 2 from everyone. But I actually really enjoyed this one because it's a witch and a witch hunter, and we got to see Gavin in the first one because what I actually like is pretty much all the stories are happening at the same time. It's just that we focus on the main character of each book more. So like, there's scenes where in the first book, Danica would have more of a moment talking about these things where Clem kind of brushes over it but still mentions that this is a thing that happened. So I really enjoy that. Like, there's a party at the end of the first book that I feel like this book had its own POV, and then the third book's also going to have the own POV of what they did during the party, but everyone else doesn't really know what everyone else did. That was a mouthful of a sentence. I hope that makes sense. But I enjoyed this so much, and it was really interesting having the witch hunter dynamic, but also, like, there was the threat of a witch hunter in the first book, then there was a threat in this book, and now I'm intrigued to know what is going to be the threat in the third book, if there is going to be another threat, or is it just going to be cute. I don't know. And then the last book I read of the month was Twisted Love by Anna Huang. So this is another rare author, and it's also my Magical Readathon book for February, because it was like a book with only title on the cover, and there's really not much happening in this cover. Like, it's pretty, oh, we've gone full blur, fix it. So like, there's clearly no images. Okay, this is, come back to me, I'm here, I'm here. Why are you so blurry? What's going on? Okay. Oh my god, I feel like, am I going blind? Fix it. Wait, fix yourself. Come on. I have to say, I really didn't like this book that much. I gave it 3 stars, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's very average. It's about the same as how I felt about The Man Man. But I don't think these romances are for me, because he was just such an asshole and it didn't change. And it's like, not a bully romance. I don't think this would be classed as that, but it's like the possessive, you know, if they touch you, I'm gonna kill them, and blah, blah, blah. Like, they're dominating, they're alpha holes. I don't think I can go into this genre of romance. I need cute romances, because even if they start out as a douche, they get better. You know, like, there was no getting better in this book, really. But the reason that this book kind of redeemed itself for me is the ending. I liked the way that it wasn't an instant forgiveness. I liked that Alex had to work for it, which made me really happy, because I don't like him. And I know a lot of people say that this book sucks, so I'm glad. Well, not glad that I feel the same way, but I'm hoping that the next books are going to get better. And I know that the next one's like a bodyguard romance with a princess, and I'm like, princesses? Like, this feels like it's kind of like a mafia story, which I also don't think I'm going to read. So it's interesting to be able to pick up some books and try something new, but I just definitely don't think this is going to be like where I'm going to go with my reading. I don't even know if I'm going to get to the rest of these books before the event either, so I don't know, like, I'll probably just end up bringing this one and maybe the second one, because I don't know, because bodyguard romance sounds like it's going to be really fun, but also the next one's a hate to love romance, because I'm excited to see the rest of Ava's friends with their stories, because they all seem very intriguing. So I hope it's good. So this is my wrap up for 2 months. Like, again, I wish I could be wrapping up this many books in like a month, but it just, at the moment, I've just been feeling really slumpy. And 2 months before Rare is not the time to feel really slumpy. So hopefully this will get better, but I don't know. But guys, I hope you enjoyed this wrap up. Honestly, I feel like so weird. I haven't filmed for quite a few weeks, and I'm always just like, how do I do this again? I'm just tired today, but I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. What did you read this month? Are you coming to Rare? Have you read a lot of books for Rare? Please tell me how your TBRs are going. Are you going as shit as me, or are you actually committing and getting a lot of stuff done? I've also done more pre-orders, because I've got like 4 author pre-orders happening at the moment. I'm so excited. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!